Hello everybody, welcome back to the Bass Channel. My name is Dave, and thank you to everybody for hanging with us for all of WAHCTOBER. Now that WAHCTOBER is drawn to a close, we can kind of recap and reminisce and think back on all of our greatest wah moments for the month. And
we interrupt this program to bring you some breaking news. Just after 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, an unidentified rocking object was spotted just outside of Pahrump, Nevada. So far, the object has remained dormant, and its intentions and capabilities are unknown. Witnesses, however, do report that the object seems to be large and blue and fuzzy.
holy shit, this one is a surprise. Dunlop reached out to us last minute. We had already shot, recorded, edited, thumbnailed, and scheduled all of the WAHCTOBER videos, and then this one falls into our lap. Today, we're checking out the JCT95 Justin Chancellor signature wah from Dunlop. Normally, we would put a segment in here where we read the copy from the website describing what the pedal is and what it does and how it operates and all that. Why do we do that? Well, we just want to give you the unedited information the way the manufacturer intends for people to learn about what a given pedal does. But with this one being not released yet, we're just going to go with our own eyes, ears, and opinions. That said, we do have a preliminary PDF of the manual, and there's at least one bullet point in here that I don't want to get wrong, so I'm going to read it directly. Use the wah select foot switch, that's right, this has two different wah circuits in it, to toggle between the UK filter mode, which lights up the controls in blue, and the wah mode, which lights up the controls in yellow. The UK filter mode uses a custom solid state circuit to generate a thick, throaty effect with pronounced peaks. The wah mode uses the famous red phasal inductor for a bright aggressive tone and lush harmonics. But here's the kicker. In both modes, your clean signal is boosted at 400 Hz and blended in with the effect at the very beginning of the rocker sweep. This wah is one that bass players have been waiting for quite some time. I remember nearly 2 years ago, I think it was, that the prototype was leaked, where there was a photo of Chancellor's pedalboard, and there was a silver and gold wah pedal with a wide bass and some side foot switches, and that turned out to be this pedal. Now it's blue and it's big, and we're gonna dig right into it. There's a couple things going on with this pedal that are all new, especially in the Crybaby family. As far as we can tell, even though we've got distortion in the slash wah, there has not, that we know of, been a fuzz wah in the Crybaby family until this one, and I think the fuzz sounds pretty good. As we mentioned, there are two different wah modes. So the upper foot switch next to the toe of the rocker pedal will switch between the UK filter mode and the standard wah mode with the red phasal inductor. The red phasal wah mode has a brighter sweep and a little bit less low end, while the UK filter has much more of a throaty low end and a little bit less treble. And by the way, here are the specifications for the wah sweeps of both filter types. The fuzz itself can be used with or without the wah, and it even does one other special thing that I'll talk about in a minute. But the fuzz sound itself is somewhere between something smooth like a muff or something ripped speaker and crackly, more like a woolly mammoth or something like that. Somewhere in the middle, really sounds good on bass, in my opinion. So the extra special mode that I was talking about comes sort of as a combination of the things that it's got going on. So much like the 105Q, you've got the switchless wah that's got the spring return. You step on it to wah, you step off it to not wah. Then you've got the independently switched fuzz on the side that you can use with or without the wah. So you can use it as a fuzz pedal, you can use it as a fuzz wah. But the cool thing that I've never seen anywhere else is the fact that there's a switch that will apply the fuzz only when the wah treadle is active. So you could be playing a clean line, and when you go to hit the wah itself will add fuzz as you rock it forward and then go back to clean when you take your foot off. That's a really cool feature, and it might be marginally useful, it might be incredibly useful. Just depends on your playing style. All right, got some breaking news inside this breaking news. We just noticed a comment on one of our earlier WAHCTOBER videos. Joseph Teal writes, "There's a part of me that's hoping that this wah month is ending with a preview of the new Justin Chancellor wah that's coming out soon." Well, Joseph, you nailed it. Let's talk about the controls on this thing, because there are possibly more controls on this than any other Crybaby we've seen. So, you've got the foot switch that turns the fuzz on and off. You've got the side switch that turns the fuzz independent operation on and off, meaning fuzz with wah only or fuzz independent of the wah. You've got a foot switch at the top by the toe, again, to change between the two wah modes. And you've got knobs galore. You've got a volume and a Q control for each of the wah modes, so there's 4 knobs. Then for the fuzz, you've got the amount of clipping with the fuzz knob. You've got the tone knob, which operates sort of like a rat filter, meaning as you turn it clockwise, it gets darker instead of brighter. And then you've got, of course, the volume for the fuzz. Then you've got a small knob by the heel of the treadle that adjusts the bypass delay for when you take your foot off, and then it goes into bypass. One other feature that is kind of new to the Crybaby family is the fact that this guy has a flat bottom plate, meaning that you don't have feet to contend with if you want to mount it on a pedal board. This started with the smaller pedals, the Mini and the Junior, that were designed for more pedal board friendly mounting, and that continues with this wah, even though it's got a much larger chassis. And we think that's a nice touch. The Chancellor wah also comes with a pedal topper, which is, well, kind of like the bullseye buttons that I make, but the metal switch topper goes on with a couple of Allen screws, a couple of set screws, and then it's got a rubber cover that goes on top of that if you want to make it a little bigger and a little softer. In my opinion, and you know, the reason that I make pedal toppers for these last few years is because if you're playing at home and you don't have your shoes on, sometimes the metal foot switches just kind of dig into your feet when you stomp them. So, you know, having a wider surface area just makes it a little more comfortable. And it also helps if you are on stage, it just makes a larger target so that you don't miss your foot switch when you're going to add fuzz or wah or whatever. We like the fact that the wah and the fuzz and the other wah all have volume controls because the interactivity with your bass is going to be very dependent on, like, if you've got a regular output or low output bass, you're going to want to crank the wah volumes all the way up. If you've got a higher output bass, like a dual humbucker, like Chris's Thunderbird, we could back off the volume on the wah a little bit. And we just think that the fuzz is great. The UK filter sounds better to us in studio with all the various basses, but that's just because it is a little bit deeper and a little bit more bass frequency heavy. All right, so that is actually the official close to WAHCTOBER. We have to send a huge thank you to Dunlop for sending us this pedal. Now, of course, if you want to buy one for yourself, click the links below to check it out on Zounds, and that'll help our channel out a little bit. But of course, thank you to Zounds. Thank you to Dunlop. Thank you to Chris, the producer. Thank you to all of our players from the wiretaps. Thank you to you guys for watching. And hey, we're not going to just see you tomorrow, but we will see you again very soon. Thank you once more. My name's Dave. This is the Bass Channel, and stay tuned.